Hey everyone, this is Liz from Augusta, and I'm coming back with you today with Mike Cooper. And he is going to introduce himself and talk to us a little bit. But I was doing what we call a discovery call the other day with him, and that's where I speak to the owners of the Augusta franchise, and I ask them questions about how we can be better at our command center, where we provide admin services for them and answer their phone calls. And when I talked to Mike, I was fascinated by his story and demeanor and his experience with Augusta. And so I'm wondering if you can introduce yourself and where you're from and a little bit of how you came to Augusta.
Okay. My name is Mike Cooper. I've been with Augusta. This is going on my third year. I'm the in the solo model right now, and I'll be purchasing the growth model in August. Um, I got started in mowing. I just kind of wanted to put my kids through, pay for their private school. And I thought, well, I can mow a few yards, and I don't know. A year later, I had about 15 yards, and I was like, started following Mike's content, and here we are. About $300,000 a year later. So,
That is fantastic. And where are you right now?
oh, I'm sorry, Athens, Tennessee.
Okay. And I believe that you've worked another job all this time and still do. How has that been working for you working with the Augusta franchise?
It's tough. It is tough. I couldn't have done it without them. Um, it is a different road for sure. Sometimes I thought that everything was stacked against me trying to do it this way, but
Yeah.
um, once I got out of my own way and kind of listened to Mike and the things that he was saying, I made it. Nick helped me out, all the coaches and stuff like that, which is kind of the best part about Augusta, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we'll get to that. But when did you first hear about Mike?
It's about 3.5 years ago. I was watching the content, and what I liked about him was it wasn't about what mower to use. It wasn't about how to mow. It was about the systems. I had tried several different businesses before, and just didn't make it. I just didn't make it, and I was like, kind of like being able to get in the room with him and just learn from him, and it attracted me. And then I talked to Lee. um, I was worried at first that Mike was just like a YouTube star, and so Lee gave me a bunch of phone numbers to call, and I called him. And really, my only question was, is he really this way in person too?
Hmm.
And they were all yes, they love him, they love him. He's that way, and that has been my experience too. He's just a genuine person. Uh,
So you joined soon after you started listening then.
Yeah, and I mean, like within a couple of months, I told my wife, I was
Incredible.
like, I think I want to do this, and I joined the solo model because I never imagined, I never imagined hitting $20,000 a month. Uh, I just never imagined it. Lee was like, "Yeah, when you hit 20, you got to do this," and I was like, "Oh, I'll never do that. I'll never hit 20,000." And within really a year and a half, they had turned me over to that.
Amazing.
Uh,
So you've turned from solo to what we called growth. And how long ago did that happen?
so I am actually still in the solo model.
Okay. Yep.
In August, I'll be purchasing the growth model.
Nice.
So I have two trucks, and I have two separate crews that they run it most of the time. And then with my schedule, I work in the field 2 days one week, 3 days the next, not counting weekends. But um, they run it, and then I kind of run it from here. I'm able to do a lot of this type of stuff, just run it from here. But it works. It's been a challenge. Sometimes you'll get bad help, and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I just try to think back to what Mike and Nick and all of them have said was, you know, bring the emotions down, and
Yes.
it'll all work out.
Yeah, that's incredible. So people listening to you today are thinking, how in the world are you working a full-time job and running Augusta? And how would you say it was for you in the beginning? Did you have an employee from the beginning? So you decided to do the lawn care and you still had this other job. Were you mowing yourself 2 days one week, 3 days the next, or were you trying to mow every day? Okay.
I was, and I did that for a little bit, but uh, really Augusta just brought a lot of jobs to me when I was starting to learn how to advertise, and then the website that really helped. Um, yeah, I just started getting busy, and I hired one person, and I had one person for about 6 months, and then I hired another person kind of part time. And last year I went to two people, and then this year I had three people for a little bit. But we went into growth mode, and we decided just to kind of scale it back and just try to make profit, or went into
Mm-hmm.
profit mode.
You seem very calm and centered and very fine with all of that you're dealing with. And a lot of people would be very stressed out by that. What do you think it is that makes you that type of person? Or is it actually the systems that we know that if you follow, it's, people, it's the systems that run the business, not the people. So is it because you put systems in place that you can just rest, that you're following the systems? And how is your thought process with that?
Well, first of all, I think it's my faith. I think that helps me. But then the systems, yes, I could not do it without the systems, and not just the systems, the coaching. Um, in December, I got out of the. I was doing real good until November,
Mm-hmm.
and everything just fell apart. Winter came. I wasn't getting any jobs. The money was tight. I had laid everybody off, and was doing it myself, and still was tight. And I kind of I got away from. I was listening to all the masterminds, but I was not doing coaching calls because I knew I was struggling.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I just kept listening to those masterminds, and I heard Mike on one of the masterminds. He said, it amazed him how people pay all this money and then they don't want to take the advice that they're given.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're right," and I just got back in there.
I love it.
Got back in there. I actually went on a carnivore. I
No way.
was 248 pounds, and now
Woohoo!
I'm 180. So I and I've heard Mike say
Congratulations.
that before too. It's like, hey, you got to have your body fit before and it did. It just it's been very stressful this year, but
Mm-hmm.
I have been able to handle it. I don't know. I think once you just start handling it, it's just like, okay, I got to make a decision, move on, make a decision, move on.
100%. Yeah. I've always thought that it's interesting that so many people at the end of their life, or I hear in their 80s, and they're talking about how, oh, it must be nice. And I'm still struggling with my weight, and I'm still struggling with this personality thing. I'm still struggling with this from my job. And I often think, why don't we just take those things, like you're saying, one at a time, get it dialed in, go to the next one, get it dialed in. And so that by the time we are 80, we're not having so many regrets and still struggling with things we did in our 40s.
Yes, and I do believe diet is a huge, especially since I've been on the carnivore, and I was pre-diabetic. I was on blood pressure, and I'm off all my medicine.
Woohoo!
That's really since February.
That's
So,
fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that.
I'll never go back. My
Yeah,
wife's
yeah.
like, "You're done now, right?" I'm like, "No, never. I'm never going to
No,
eat sugar or carbs again."
nope. It's 100% a lifestyle change that we've all made. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
fantastic. So you mentioned about the coaching. I have noticed that people that do their coaching are much more they're much more dialed in. They're much more a part of the franchise. And I think the key point that you just touched on is we don't reach out until we're at a bad time. And I think that is when we should be reaching out and then get everything really good. Listen to what Nick says, do what he says, watch the results from that. And then, or any of the coaches that you talk to, and then watch it all play out. it's pretty phenomenal from what I've seen how these owners succeed when he says to raise prices and they do what he says and raise prices, and they almost like following blindly. But because he's had so many reps, the coaches have had so many reps of doing these things that, we in our human nature, we don't want to reach out, but it's a phenomenal addition to the franchise. I mean, in our personal lives, how often can you hop on a call with somebody once a month and run through everything in your life?
And I'll tell you, even when I came back, so I have Ryan Payne as my coach.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved him, and we were on a roll. I just felt so good, and we were rolling, we were growing, and then he quit, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of when I got out of it, And then I came back, and Nick was my coach,
Mm-hmm.
and so I haven't even told Nick about this. So he was like the opposite of what Ryan was. Ryan was grow, 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 and I loved it. It was
Mm-hmm.
so easy. I could just work hard, grow, grow, but I didn't have any money. I mean, I was putting in all my personal money into the business, which
Yeah.
I still do, but um, and Nick was like, "You need to slow down. You need to slow down.
Wow.
You need to go into profit." And I was like, "But I've got 2 trucks. You
Yes.
know, why can't I grow?" And I changed coaches, just to be honest with you. I was like,
Wow.
"I'm going to go." Well, he told me the same thing, you know. And then I kept listening. I was getting on the meetings with Nick, and I kept listening. And then it went back to like Mike saying, "Hey, you're paying all this money. Listen to our," and I did. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to surrender, and I'm going to do what you guys tell me to do. And it has helped. I've been a lot happier, really.
Mm-hmm. So was his advice to switch out of growth mode and go into profit mode?
Yes, yes, because I have my franchise fee coming up too. And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Look, you need to do this," and he was absolutely right. I just didn't want to listen to him.
Yeah.
And but I did. I kept listening to Nick. I listened to him on his little podcast he's having now,
Mm-hmm.
and he's absolutely right. And but I wanted to fight it. I just wanted to grow. That's all I knew was to work hard and just keep trying to get business. And it was not the right thing for me to do. So
Wow.
I've
That's
saved a
really
lot of
good to
money in a
hear.
short time, with his advice. So and
Yeah.
Brian Connor is my coach now. So uh, they were on page together, and we came up with a plan. And but yeah, I hadn't never told Nick that, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's why I left. And it was just it wasn't him, it was me. I was just being bullheaded.
Yeah, I guess that's why they call them coaches.
Well, he's already succeeded. And I was like, I got to start listening to these guys. Quit trying to do my own thing,
Yeah.
and it's been
Yeah.
better. It's been a lot better.
Tell me a little bit about your past and your family. What did you do before? And are you married? Do you have children?
Okay, so I am married, and I'm a nuclear security officer. Um, and I also have had 21 kids, and I've adopted 6 of those children. So all my
Incredible.
children are adopted. I raised 3 children, and they're out. I have a nurse practitioner, a nuclear engineer, kind of one that's doing his own thing. But
Mhm.
then I have 3 children at home, a 10, 11, and a 15-year-old.
Wow.
And I'm old. I'm 56, so
That's not old.
no, it's not old. But I feel like it when the kids. But that's just what we do. That's what God has us do. Is we try to take care of the kids. So.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about how it came to be that you adopted children.
So when me and my wife got married, she had kind of custody of her cousin, which is my oldest son. But and then we tried to have children, and we couldn't. So our faith is to let us say, hey, we're not going to keep trying this, and we just said, hey, we're going to adopt. So we got into the foster care program because we couldn't afford, just go out and adopt.
Mm.
Uh, and we wound up with, like I said, 21 different kids over 15 years. and and every kid that came into our house, we had the attitude to where like they can stay forever if they need to. But a lot of them left, went back to their house, to their family, which was good. But
Mm-hmm.
the six that we have, they came up for adoption, and we absolutely wanted to adopt them. We've gotten out of that. We have grandchildren now, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we left that to somebody else. But
And how's your wife been with you coming to Augusta? Has she been supportive of that? A lot of times it's a real struggle for the spouse because this is a pretty big leap.
it is a big leap. The struggle, where everybody, you got these branded trucks, and everybody thinks you're making all kinds of money, and you're
Yeah.
not.
Mhm.
You know, I keep telling her, almost, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get, and she's like, I'm ready. I'm ready to quit. Struggling money wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I'm ready. The time, my wife's love language is time, so uh,
Hmm.
we really have to focus on that. I try not to work on the weekends unless I have to. I have to work at TVA every other weekend. So, and sometimes I just have to say, okay, we're going. Here recently, we went to like a little 4-day vacation,
Nice.
um, and I was able to just let the crew go. So,
I
uh,
love it.
I couldn't have done that without Augusta. It was
Yeah.
they're just command center is wonderful. You had called me, wanting to know about command center, and I'm just like, I don't have any problems. When I do, I just call them.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah. 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 That's good. Yeah. So if I'm looking to the future, what are you planning? What are you thinking you want to do? What is the vision that you have for your company?
So for my company, I want to hit 500,000,
Okay.
and like Mike says, go into the profit mode. And when I hit 500,000, I am going to quit here at TVA. That will more than supplement my income,
Hmm.
interest. I know I should quit now, but it's tough when you're
No,
older.
no.
You
Yeah.
know, give up that security. And then maybe I really hadn't thought about another franchise because I really want to just focus on developing this one.
Hmm.
But I do want to quit and go full time there. And I want to become. I feel like I can help the smaller person because I feel like I'm working a job and going. I just feel like I have a lot to offer. Maybe even the community.
Hmm.
The way Mike talks about bringing, making the uh, landscaping world more professional.
Yes.
Um, I really want to do that. I want to get into the coaching program for the smaller guys, that are
Right.
coming on. That is a passion of mine. Um, I'm a
That's
giver, so I
yeah.
want to give back.
That's an incredible goal. And learning from your own coaching calls is exactly what's going to help you to be able to become the coach that you want to be. Did you know that Nick has put some of his coaching calls on the academy now?
Yes, on his last, I forgot what he's calling it, office hours.
That's
Yes,
correct.
yes, he said that he was putting some of them on there. Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
So you'll be able to go listen to those and it'll actually train you on how to coach, basically, by
oh,
listening
yeah,
to the ones he's doing.
yeah, and I do want to be a part of that, but I feel like I've got to. I feel like that $500,000 mark. I feel like I'll have credibility,
100%.
and uh, and just like I'm amazed at the like I'll have one thing like I call them stages,
Hmm.
or like I'm having to manage people, or I'm having to, oh, now I got to swap and do this. I've got to learn
Yes.
to do this, and it's so I still got a lot of learning, I think, before I'm ready to be a coach. But that is my goal. I
That's
do
a
want to
great
help
goal.
the person.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now you are working still full time. Your
Yeah.
goal is 500,000. You have a great goal to someday be a coach when it works out for you to be. And so, how has it been from the very first time you talked to somebody from Augusta Nation to see if you should join throughout your journey in the community? Um, in the community, how how has it been for you? Has it been a positive interaction? Has it been something that has made it worth joining Augusta?
It's yes, yes, yes to all of them. Um, I could not have done it. Sometimes you're like, why am I paying all this money? The value is just there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the support. I told you the last time we talked that I kind of felt like the cards were stacked against me because of the way I'm going about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I could pick the phone up anytime and talk to Ryan or I have other guys that are calling me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how are you doing? They're just checking in on me. Out of
Yeah.
no reason, I'll get a phone call from one of them and be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" I just want, and that's you don't want to unload everything on your wife. And when you
Right.
get another owner that calls you, it's the support. You can't. The support alone is worth the
Yeah.
value. Now there's some up and downs. There's some things you may not like. I was sad when they got rid of the solo model because I was like, man, that's where I came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I do understand it though. It is tough. It is tough, and I'll see some of them drop out.
Yes.
Say like, "Hey, I'm giving up," and I'm just like, it makes me sad.
Yes.
It
Me
makes me
too.
sad. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. When I talked to you before, you talked so much about the community, and we were working together with services from Command Center and just trying to work together with the community more. That's what I've been trying to do. Just all of us together, just a big communication loop and making sure we're all tied together on every angle as a community to where everybody feels like they can contribute and you have something to contribute. And also, I've been thinking this week about that quote, comparison is the thief of joy, and how so many times even Nick had mentioned it on the office hours this week about, you see some smaller owner, like you mentioned earlier, and they're comparing themselves to where others are and where they should be. And the nice thing about all of Augusta Nation is all of us are at different stages. And so it's made it very nice for the somebody who's alone, like you said, might not have the support they need from their spouse. It's not like they can go back and forth with their spouse and their spouse says, just hang in there or try it like this, or what about this, or why don't you talk to so and so. Not everybody's significant other is involved like that. So the fact that you can go on there, any franchisee can go on there and have that kind of support is pretty phenomenal.
there's no competition. There's no judgment. There's no competition. It's just they want to help. Everybody like wants to help.
Yes.
Everybody's a giver here. Now my wife is very supportive. I hope I didn't portray it. She's
Oh, no,
very,
not at all.
but it wears her out too sometimes.
Oh,
Especially
yes,
she's like, it's mowing season. We can't go.
exactly.
It's hard, and she does. Everybody's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? And I'm like, well, I do it because I have a support team. Augusta and my wife does 90% of the stuff at home and takes care of our children, and
Yeah.
works a full-time job. So uh,
Wow.
she does more than me, actually. I'm like, sometimes instead of taking care of the kids, I'd rather be out there mowing.
It's a lot
Yeah,
of work.
yes, yes. But I am very thankful for my wife, and she is very supportive. Um, I I just got like I couldn't do it without them. I just couldn't do it
Mhm.
without you guys, or it would be hard. How would you take all the phone calls? How would you run all the social media, the website, the just all the stuff Command Center does for us?
Mhm.
Do they get things wrong sometimes?
Yeah.
You know, but all I got to do is pick the phone up, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, this is." And most of the time, it's me that's gotten it wrong, not them. I'll see something, and I'll be like, "What are they doing?" And I'll call them, and it was just totally me misunderstanding, and I got it wrong, or I didn't communicate with them. Uh,
Yeah. I guess that's why they call it a nation, because it takes so many of us to make it
it
up.
does. It does. It's a
Yeah.
great nation. I wish more people would come. I can't wait. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's more competition though. But uh,
Well, the awesome part is you're at the ground roots of it. I
yes,
mean, if you're in the 100 or below, or 150 and below, you wait till there's 1,000. You'll be the OG.
Well, I'm getting old. One day I would like to sell it. One day, or pass it on to my children. But I'm hoping this will be I can kind of work in it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When I get older and kind of just draw that money, and that's one reason that uh, I do try to keep my services simple, and I want it to run without me. That
Yeah.
is a goal of mine. I do want. I don't want to be in the field.
Yeah.
I've been able to do that for most of the part. I really like. I mow a lot, but um, I don't mow much anymore. As far as
Yeah.
do most of the work,
Mm-hmm.
which
That's
is hard,
good.
hard to be profitable when everybody else is doing the work, though. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's a
So just a couple more things. When you talk to others in the franchise and are talking to those outside the franchise, and if somebody is considering to join, what would you say to them? And also, what would you say to somebody that's pretty discouraged right now in Augusta Nation?
um, somebody wanting to join. I would say if don't join if you're not willing to follow the directions.
Well, that's good advice.
Because if you're going to fight it, it's not going to do you any good.
Hmm.
When you join, you need to be willing to follow, uh, the directions that we're given and the coaching advice, and um, that because that's hard sometimes. That's hard because like I said, you want to grow, 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 go get more business, and then they're telling you to raise your prices and lose that customer that, that you worked so hard to get.
Yes.
Uh, it doesn't make sense. To you. Um, but it was the right thing for me to do. Um, Somebody that's frustrated in Augusta, um, you need to get in the community. Don't fall out of the community.
Mm,
You know, because I did that. I was like, I would listen to the mastermind some. I wasn't reading the Facebook. Uh, I wasn't doing coaching calls because I was so frustrated because I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have any money. It was, everything was just tight, and it was frustrating. But I wasn't following what they were telling me to do.
mhm.
I caused my own pain. Um, but just don't get out of the community. You know,
Yeah,
and if
that's
if you have
fantastic.
a coach and it's not working out, it's no hard feelings to them. Go to somebody else. They might
Yeah,
not.
especially if they mirror the same advice like it happened for you.
Right, right, and that's what happened. And I was like, when Brian was telling me the same thing Nick was telling me, and I'm like, well, there's two successful people here. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Just like, okay, So this year, Brian, we went into growth mode until May, the end of May.
Hmm.
We went back into profit mode. We were just trying to get that spring rush in, to get those jobs, and it worked out great. It was a great plan, and we followed it. And so my problem now is I raised prices, and I didn't raise them enough, and I still have too many customers. So
Oh my goodness, that is such
uh,
a good problem. This is so good.
uh, I'm gonna start picking and choosing, like Nick had gave me advice. Uh,
Yep.
my bad customers, I'm just gonna drop them.
Yeah, that's good. So as you know, a lot of us listen to different kind of podcasts and follow different people. We listen to audibles, we listen to sermons, we have all kinds of things that we ingest to make us the person that we are and to help us in our business and in our life. Is there anything like that that you listen to that you could recommend to others?
Oh mercy. Um, I listen to a lot of. I don't listen. I listen to Mike stuff, but
Oh,
besides
that's
that,
good.
I listen to maybe I just a lot of audiobooks. I've
Hmm.
listened to almost every audiobook. I like Jocko.
Hmm.
Um, I do. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and if I get into the audiobook and I don't like it, I move on to the next one. But um, I try not to listen to too. I try to focus on really what Mike's telling us.
I love that.
Um, because there's so many opinions out there, and I chose to follow Mike.
Right.
And so I really try to, or even like, I don't ask Mike a lot of questions on the masterminds because
Hmm.
I'm really trying to deal with my coach, and I try to go through my coach first.
Yes, that's smart.
But I try to follow the Gus ways, but I do listen to a lot of leadership books,
That's
um,
good.
stuff like that. It's just I'm usually so busy I don't have a lot of time.
Exactly. And that is the way most people feel. And so that's really good advice to follow all the content that we give out, masterminds, coaching, everything that we have on the dashboard and these free resources to everyone. And all of the YouTube channel. We can all learn so much by watching Mike. All his business advice there, as well as the turnarounds, are very helpful. So yeah, you're right. Just that much content is a lot when we're all so busy. So the same here. I try to prioritize that and then listen to other things kind of packed around what we're all doing.
Yes, I'm trying to simplify my life now. Like I've turned off all my notifications. I have a smartwatch. I've turned off all of the notifications.
Smart.
I've put a focus to where I only get phone calls from the people that I want to get phone calls from.
Hmm.
Uh, and I've done that about 2 weeks ago, and it has really like
It's
I
the
don't
best.
been calming. It's been
Yep.
so I would recommend that for sure to everybody. Uh,
Yeah.
but no, besides that, I mean, I just keep my head down and work. Uh,
Yep.
try
It's
to.
good. Sounds like a real Augustin right there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I won't take up any more of your time today. I have no words to express how much I appreciate you have a lot going on, and I appreciate you taking the time right here in Spring Rush to be able to share a little bit, and for Augusta Nation and others to get to know you. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.